Hey everybody, Metroid Prime Fan 18 here, and going to be doing another game review. And this time, this one was also requested by a friend of mine, just like my second rant video was. And the game that I've been requested to review is also part of a series, but I'm not going to review the whole series, not right now, at least not all in a row like I did with the Turok series. Anyway, this game I'm reviewing is the original Quake, the N64 version. Now, I do realize the original version of this game was on the PC, but I have never played, nor do I own the PC version of Quake 1. I do have both the N64 and PC versions of Quake 2, but not Quake 1. So this review is just going to be off the N64 version. Now, this game was released in the mid-90s, or late 90s, one of the two, and I think it came out soon after Doom 64 did. And as far as people thought when they, formed their reviews in this game, I think they reviewed it or scored it basically how they did Doom 64. Average to above average. But, and this is a real big problem with me. When they review games, they always tend to compare it to other games. Don't compare games to other games, just review the game, what you think of the game itself, not what you think comparing it to other games like GoldenEye or Perfect Dark or whatever. I mean, because this game came out like during a slow of big, just a lot of FPSs. Duke Nukem 64, Doom 64, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark 64, and then Quake 64. But anyway, story-wise, there's not really much of a story other than this game. It really has kind of a fantasy feel to it, and the story of this game is you're this guy. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be a Marine or not, but you're trying to stop this evil witch goddess named Shub-Niggurath. I know that last part of the name sounds like a racial slur, but it's not, trust me. That's what I thought of when I first heard it too. Anyway, she's trying to tear open the rift between their dimension and Earth to send her children, the enemies you face, into it. And your goal is to collect all 4 of these magical runes, break through the gateway to her lair, and finish her off. Now, some good points about this game. Graphically, it's good. It's not great, but it's good for an N64 game of its time. It's also got a big array of weapons. Everything from a shotgun to the Thunderbolt. That's another weird thing about this game. There is no pistol in this game, like in other FPSs. There is no pistol at all. None. You start out with a shotgun and an axe. And don't be fooled, it's a shotgun, but it's a really weak shotgun. The double-barreled shotgun, however, which you get in a secret area in the first level, that's the good shotgun. You can use that pretty much for any level in the game. It's also got a wide range of enemies, ranging from rabid Rottweilers to zombies to these weird demonic monster things. It's got good level design. That's one thing I like about this game. Some of the levels just have brilliant designs. I mean, they're multi-layered. A lot of levels in this game are set inside like castles and fortresses. I mean, immediately when someone hears that, they're like, "Oh boy, it's gonna be a big level full of different floors and lots of secret rooms." And yeah, it is. Another good thing, this game does pose a challenge. Sometimes it may seem that your health may drop a little too quickly depending on the enemy that you're facing, but all in all, that's not too big of a problem. And this game does have a difficulty selection from easy, medium, hard, and nightmare. And even on easy, this game is a challenge, especially in the last chapter, in chapter 4. Or section 4, however you want to call it. Some gripes I have with this game. The graphics, while good, somewhat, sometimes become, and again, this is an N64 game from the 90s, you can't really nitpick graphics too much, but from a long distance they can seem kind of blurry sometimes, especially in some of the levels that have lots and lots of coloring, like inside caves or whatever, or like walls that have cave-like colorings in them. Enemies, sometimes, it seems like enemies damage you too much, especially the Fiend. It's like this dog-like creature with these claw-like arms, who also jumps on you. If the Fiend hits you when he jumps on you, he takes off a huge amount of health. And I don't know why. Even with armor. I mean, armor sometimes, it seems like armor doesn't help you sometimes in this game. Of course, it also depends on the enemies you face. Oh, excuse me. This, I don't know if this could qualify much as a complaint, but some levels in this game can be a bit confusing at first, and it seems like it'd be easier if you had like an in-game map, but you figure it out after a while. I mean, first time I got into one of the most complicated levels of the game, it took me like 20 minutes to find my way out of it. And that was just to find a key that stupid me had missed in a very easy location. I just overlooked it. Oh, sorry. Other than those points, I can't really think of anything else I dislike about this game. I think it was underrated to a certain extent because, everyone was comparing it to Doom and Perfect Dark and GoldenEye and Turok and Duke Nukem, all those games. And you just don't do that when you review a game. Do not compare a game to other games. Same goes for sequels and prequels. And that'll be an upcoming rant of mine. Little heads up. A lot of people were flabbergasted at the fact that when Quake 2 came out, they noticed that its storyline was completely different from this one. And that's because back when John Romero worked for id, after this game's release, he was the one who thought up the whole, fantasy theme to this game. And a lot of the creators and members of Nintendo disagree with him on it. Like, they said they should continue with the fantasy storyline, and they disagreed. So, apparently they got in some sort of argument, and John ended up quitting id. And that's when they got replaced with Adrian Carmack. And I think, if I remember correctly, Adrian is the one who came up with the storyline for Quake 2, being against the Strogs and everything. But, all in all, this is a good game. It's definitely a good one to pick up online. I'm pretty sure this, game this old and underrated wouldn't sell for that much. I mean, if you still have your N64, I would recommend this game. I definitely would. It's also got multiplayer. There's one more complaint I have about the multiplayer. 1 out of the 7... Actually, it can be 2. 2 out of the 7 arenas are too confusing. Multiplayer arenas don't have to be confusing. They have to be wide open, lots of space. I mean, because you want to know where you're going. You don't want to be completely lost and have someone shoot you. That's just my opinion. But especially the 7th one, the Court of Death. Extremely confusing at first. It's also very dark. This game does have minor brightness issues, but not as bad as Doom 64 did. That was why a lot of people didn't like Doom 64, is because of its brightness problems. But of course they didn't know that you can turn the brightness up in the game, and if that wasn't enough, turn the brightness up on your TV. If that didn't help, well, you're shit out of luck then. So, anyway, that completes the game review of the original Quake for the N64. Like I said, I may get to reviewing the future Quake games, Quake 2, Quake 4. I don't have Quake 3, so I can't review that just yet. But I'm not going to do it all in a row either. Like, I'm not going to do that for a while. But, yeah, so all in all, overall, I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. It's definitely a good game to pick up. Aside from the minor complaints I had about it, you can overlook all those. So, with that, this is Metroid, signing off.